And then, sir, you had a question back.
Podcast in the crypt right now. Loving it, by the way.
Thank you.
Not that I wanted to add. How far out is the crypt going to go, you think? And second part of this question is, when you've done the crypt, you're going to start doing pandemonium?
Well, pandemic. The way it works right now is I'm on tour until mid-July. Then I'm actually taking 2 weeks off at the end of July to write a screenplay. So I'm taking time off to write something else, basically. And then when I finish with that, August we start Pandemic. But A has the schedule set up where I'll be writing Pandemic 4 days a week, then 1 day a week writing something else to kind of, not be lost in that one. Pandemic's going to be like Ancestor. It's going to be brutal to write. It's going to be very difficult. So then I'll swing over and hopefully write either Crypt or Kissing Man stories. Anybody listen to Kissing Man? So, what we're gunning for, hopefully, is Christmas this year will either be the 12 days of Cryptmas again, with 12 new Crypt stories, which will all be Crypt Book 2. So we'll actually be out on the ship on a cruise, and horrible things are going to happen to people on this. I'm telling you. I would want to be there. Or it'll be another Kissing Man novella short story. So the long term for the Crypt, I'm trying to set the Crypt up as my goal is a 3-season television show. It lasts 3 seasons, and that's it. And hopefully it gets insanely popular, and they're like, let's jam 2 extra seasons in here to make money. You're like, no, 3 seasons, because everything in it will be interlinked and foreshadowed, and everything will be pointing to one finite conclusion. So when you get to the end of my show, hopefully, you won't go, what was that? Have I really been watching this for 6 years? Are you kidding me? So that's what I'm hoping to be my final gift to the world. So that's where the Crypt is going, so there will definitely be more Crypt coming, yeah. Sir?
You mentioned screenplay. Does that mean Infected is back on the line to possibly make a movie?
Well, all the books are on the line to make a movie. So, we parted ways with the old guy who was representing the books for movies, because quite frankly, he's at a higher level than I'm at. People call him and be like, we want to option the new Stephen King book, and nobody's calling him and saying we want to option the new Scott Sigler novel. Any of the guys going to go out and kind of bird dog it, go try and find things. So the new guy has been waiting for Ancestor to come out, the Ancestor trailer, and he's using that to go forth. So he's out we're leading with Ancestor, trying to get a movie deal for Ancestor. The Infected and Contagious will follow along behind that. That's all the information we got right now. I won't be writing that screenplay. I think I'll be writing something else. We'll see though. Yes, sir.
Heard you compared a couple times with Michael Crichton. I mean, obviously not a bad area to be in, but are you afraid of being labeled as the tech sci-fi horror?
No. I'm not afraid of people saying Scott writes a lot like Michael Crichton, who sold 850 million books. Totally fine with that. Somebody wants to come out and goes, he's a lot like Stephanie Meyer. I'm like, wait. I'm in. You had a question, sir.
You had to, if I recall correctly, you almost had to twist Crown's arm in order to be able to podcast your novels. If your 5-book deal ends with Crown and that's it, how likely is it other publishers are going to be willing to let you podcast?
I think it'll probably still be pretty likely. I didn't really have to twist Crown's arm. When we made the deal, Infected was an auction, so there were a couple houses bidding on it. So it was a really, it's every author's dream for that to happen, to get things rolling. So I was able to say to my agent, tell them all that I will be podcasting everything I write for free, unabridged. All of it. They don't like it, don't bid. So Crown knew exactly what they were getting into. I don't think they thought it was really I was going to stick with it. They're like, okay, sure, podcast everything. And then when I started like, what do you mean you're going to give it away for free? I'm like, it's in the contract. That's you guys put in the contract. So they're fine. They're totally fine with it. As far as going on to another deal, we'll have to see. But that'll be another 3 years from now. And hopefully, if things progress, that method of building up a fan base and showing your fans you're worth the money before they spend it will be proven, and I won't have to worry about it. But we'll see, because I'm also getting to the point where the way things are growing social media-wise, the way things are going with podcasts, selling my own books, I might not need a publisher in 3 or 4 years. It might not, honestly, it might not be worth the trouble. Particularly with ebooks coming up, everything's changing. In 3 years, the publishing landscape is going to be a completely different ballgame. But if all goes well, we'll re-sign with Crown, put out some more books, and everybody's happy. Yes, sir.
How do you keep up your drive and enthusiasm for writing?
I'm very ornery, and I don't know. I just got a chip on my shoulder about everything all the time, no matter what. So right now, it's just I'm still in the I'm going to show everybody phase. And so that's why I plow through all the research for all these things and kick out the books and do all the podcasting, because I want a #1 bestseller. I'm not doing this for funsies, you know what I mean? So it's everything I can do to get to that point. And then along the way, every 3 or 4 days you just kind of wake up and go, holy cow, I'm doing this for a living. This is my job. And it's the hardest, most demanding job I've ever had, and I would not want any other kind of job. Period. This is what I want to do. Frankly, it's pretty brutal, but I get to do what I want to do. And then, frequently, when you hit the groove and you crank out, 20,000 words in a couple of days because just everything is just clicking, that's a really fantastic feeling. It's its own reward. And then that 25-30 minutes of accomplishment when you finish a draft. And you're like, woo, I'm on top of the world! Before you realize you got to go back to page 1 and start all over. So that 30-minute high is almost worth everything else by itself. But that 1 minute after the 30 minutes, that's a sad minute. That's a sad, sad minute. Yes, sir. The Kraken's jersey. The dashing Kraken's jersey. Number 58, you had a question, sir.
Is there any plan to do anything with short stories, put a compilation together, maybe Title Fight or Typhoon or Johnson Money, and will we be seeing that anytime in the near future?
Well, I'm no longer allowed to say in the near future, 2011 or 2012 for any of these things. What I can say, though, is that we've got a couple ideas. We would like to package Title Fight with 4 or 5 other short stories set in the rookie era, all sports related. Dino-lition might sneak in there. I can't tell you what that is yet, but it's really cool. And do a book of short stories that kind of ties some different things in the rookie to starter and the all-pro and tie them all together. And then we will put that out ourselves. So there's that. Kissing Man's already an 80,000 word novel. It's done. I mean, that first Kissing Man adventure is completely done. That'd be fun to put out. And The Crypt is 90,000 words, so that's a full novel. Just and Nocturnal, all this stuff is stacking up. And then all the short stories. We have enough short stories for two collections about that big. So there's a lot of stuff. The problem is, in putting them out, I feel like I'm asking people, if you listen to my stuff and enjoy it, here's 2 hardcovers a year. Go buy 2 hardcovers a year if you really want to dig in and be part of the cause. So that's a lot already. Now if I get to the point where I'm doing 3 products out a year, then it's just, I don't know, I feel like you're going to hear nothing but noise in the podcast feed. Buy my book! Buy my book! I think it's already annoying enough. So that's one of the things we're trying to factor in. And A is talking about putting them out in trade paperbacks, smaller runs. We pre-order 2,000 copies, we print 2,000, and that's it. Those things are done. But I'm kind of fond of the actual hardcovers in the library of Sigler books, so there's still a lot of questions as to what we'll do. There's so much stuff though. What you can know is this. If my plane in DC crashes tomorrow, somebody's going to be putting out Sigler books for the next 10 years. So you got that.